So, yeah, as I was saying, good evening. My name is Iker Jamardo, and this presentation is called The Story of an HTML5 Game. Actually, because of the time what it is, it's going to be like a bedtime story. Yeah, I'm going to try to be as fast as I can and just explain to you what we have done. I come from Luday. I'm VP of engineering there, and we're well known by our HTML5 development platform, cross-platform development for gaming. And we have developed this game that it hasn't been released yet. We have developed also this small video, this short video that it shows the game, so you can see more or less what is it about, and then I will show you the game running. Actually, you're going to be one of the first persons to see the game. So, well, as you can see, it's a very casual game where what you have to do is just try to get hoops of your ball in a basket. And the thing is that what is a little bit strange maybe is that it has, like Vera said, 50 million downloads, and I said that it wasn't released yet. The thing is that this HTML5 version hasn't been released yet. Actually, today has been shipped for approval for Apple. So hopefully we'll have the version up and running soon. And how we end up actually doing this path that is just the contrary that other big companies are doing, from moving from native to HTML5 instead of from HTML5 to native, right? And when we started like nearly 3 years ago, we started like a very small game company. We wanted to develop cross-platform, fun, casual games. And well, as many other game developers, if there are game developers here, I can say that a lot of people start just developing their first games and prototypes in different platforms like iOS and Android using different tools like this. And well, we developed several titles, and they were pretty successful. The flagship being iBasket. And but yeah, definitely, we weren't very happy with this situation, right? Like, we really didn't think that this was the way to go. To update the game that it's been developed in different platforms and to backfix all the things that you're encountering in the way, it's really, really complex. You need to have bigger teams and very specialized team for each platform, or a very good developers at all. So the first step that we went through to get cross-platform was to use, as it has been mentioned here today, was to use what I think is a real cross-platform language, that it's C++. And we developed a framework that it was pretty successful. We just achieved what we wanted, and we developed several titles using this framework, that it was multi-platform, but it was just for iOS and Android at that time. And what about the web? We wanted to develop web games too. And we wanted to have only one single code base. We didn't want to go through the same path with the web and native. So our CTO started to play around a little bit with HTML5, and well, we at that time, it was like 2 years and a half ago, HTML5 wasn't as advanced that it's today. Today, there are people maybe thinking that HTML5 have problems. I can tell you that 2 years and a half ago, it was much more complicated. So we developed our first HTML5 framework that is called Calt. It's an open source project that you can go and download it and even contribute to it. And it's a very complex and pretty nice, why do I see my icons there? Oh, anyway. It handles everything that you need when you are developing a game. It handles hierarchies, it handles collisions, all the graphics, input, all these things that you need when you are developing a game. It's pretty amazing code-based game engine. And we got really excited. I mean, the results were very good. I mean, we got the first game that we developed in HTML5, that it was Summon, that you can download for iOS and Android, and you can also play online. And we were really, really excited. But the thing is that we tried these first games and this first framework in mobile, and the first try was a little bit disappointing, right? To say the least. And why? The performance was, as you know, wasn't as good as expected. Some APIs were missing. I mean, yeah, the overall feeling wasn't good. And there were a lot of things that you have in the native side that you didn't have in HTML5, and you still don't have nowadays. So what can we do then? The first thing that we did is we got angry. And I can tell you our CTO was like shouting all day, and you can really say really bad words in Spanish. And yeah, it was a painful time. But then we had two options. We could drop the project, as other companies have done, and say that HTML5 doesn't work, or we could just go and try to solve the problem. And we just went through the painful path of the second option, right, to try to solve this problem. And then is when our platform, Cocoon.js, was born, right? This is a plain JavaScript virtual machine. What we have done is we just added the APIs that we think that are necessary to develop a compelling game, taken from the HTML5 standard. So we are HTML5 compliant. And what we also have done is we have added all the features that we needed, that they were in the standard, but we needed in the native side. And we add them in JavaScript too, to that JavaScript virtual machine. What we have done actually is just add a new service to that framework that we developed in C++. So we had everything that we needed. We had the JavaScript engine to develop our games, and we had all the problems that we saw already working and solved. So what are my advices, or what are the challenges that you're gonna confront, or you have to go through when you are trying to develop HTML5 mobile gaming? Well, the first thing that you have to do is you have to change your mind. If you're a web developer, definitely one of the things that we face most of the time is that people say, okay, but it works in my desktop, why it doesn't work on my laptop? Why it doesn't work in mobile? Well, I'm sorry, but a mobile device is not a laptop, or is not a desktop computer. And you have to really realize about that. It's really, really important. And related to that, one of the first things that you have to care about is memory management. That is really, really important in mobile, and in HTML5 mobile even more. What are the things that you can do when you are trying to do this smart memory management? Well, one of the first things that you should take care about is that you should know a little bit about the hardware that you are working with. One of the first things that is very, very important is to have power of 2 friendly, and if you can, to pack all those textures, power of 2 friendly textures. And why is this very important? Because first of all, you are going to decrease the waste of the memory that you are going to use, because if you really go and dive a little bit into the drivers and on OpenGL, you will see that if you're, for example, you have a texture of 100 pixels, the GPU is going to use 128 pixels. So you are losing 28 pixels, and that's not a very, you could think that it's not a lot of memory, but definitely if you have a lot of images in your game, you are wasting a lot of time. If you just pack all those images, or you are just making them power of 2 friendly, you're going to improve the management of your memory. And you are going to decrease the context changes. If you are able to just upload one texture to the memory, to the GPU, and you can just nearly play your whole game over one or two textures in your GPU, it's going to be much better, because you're going to be changing your context all the time. So in the game, what we have done is actually this. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing that you have to do is just go and look for one of those texture packets that are out there. There are plenty of them. And just pack your textures and your images in just one texture. In this case, with 2048 or 4000 by 9096, for example. And that depends on the device that you want to use. I mean, if the device is a low-end device, maybe you cannot go for 4096. You have to play around a little bit with that. Okay, but definitely this is a very good advice that you should follow. Another thing that you should do in mobile is, okay, you know that you have to optimize your JavaScript, but in mobile it's even more important. And there are some things that are like the JavaScript 101 things that you can do to optimize your code. For example, you have to be aware that closures and complex JavaScript hierarchies are really, really demanding, especially in mobile. Maybe you won't notice a lot of performance drop in a desktop, but definitely in mobile. Things like if you are using object-oriented programming methodologies and things like, I don't know if you know John Resig, and those kind of patterns, those patterns are really, really, really good because you make much better code, but definitely your performance is going to drop, and you should know that. And closures are evil in this case, okay? So you should be really aware of those. Another thing that you should know, and especially in JavaScript, I think that all the JavaScript programmers that are here is that you should control your garbage collection. For example, and you see this is snippet of code. Someone could tell me what is not, I mean, it's correct, this code is going to work, but it's not very, very good with good code. Do you know why? Someone?
It's because you are using the image. Also, you're opening the closure because the image object is outside of the folder.
And why is that not good? Because it works, and why you shouldn't be using it? Yeah, that's it. So the biggest problem is that it leaks memory, right? I mean, you're referencing that image element inside the function that it's outside in a different context, and you're gonna the system is gonna get one reference to solve this problem for you, and that is not very good. You're leaking memory in this case. So this is much better way of doing things. I mean, I know plenty of you might know about this, but it's good to remind you that especially in mobile, it's really important to be aware of all those things. Another thing that we really recommend is that abstraction is your friend. It's really important to be as agnostic as you can. Things like input agnostic. To be input agnostic is very important when you go to mobile, because you are going to use, you are trying to be cross-platform. You're going and you are going to play with the mouse. You're going to play with the touch input in a mobile device. You have to be unaware of all those things. You shouldn't be dealing with them in a daily basis. So you should be abstracting from those. Also, from the screen resolution, all these devices have many different resolution and many different aspect ratios. You should be unaware of all those things. That is really, really important. Once you solve this problem, you can just go and be cross-platform much easier. And the same with rendering. You should have, or you should look for a framework that gives you independency of rendering. If you're using Canvas, you're using WebGL like today, some presenters were showing you, or even CSS that you can render, and you can just go out there and see a lot of people that are supporting what they call web sprites and stuff, right? So you shouldn't be taking care of all those things. Another thing that is really important when you are going mobile is that native features are important. Even if you are HTML5 developer and you are thinking that you are kind of a web developer, you are now in a mobile environment, and those features that you have in the mobile are really, really important. So just take care of all those things. Things like in-app payments in this case for monetization, things like advertising for monetization too, push notifications, social network integration. You have to think your users are so used to these kind of features that if you don't provide them, they are going to be pissed. And that was what happened, for example, for Facebook, right? That the look and feel and the feeling wasn't right. And the same as analytics. Just to give you an example with our framework, this is the whole API that you have to integrate your ads. It's really, really simple, right? And most of the frameworks that you have for hybrid applications, you can find this kind of very easy API. So it's really, really important that you think ahead and know that you have these kind of features and that you can integrate them in your final development. And a very, very important feature, or advice, just think of mobile first. If you make your game or your application to run in mobile, it will certainly run much better or very good in a desktop, okay? So a lot of people just, oh, it works in my desktop, it should work in mobile. I'm sorry, I know your iPad and your iPhone it's cool and it works really, really well, but it's not a computer, it's not a full computer as you have in all the power that you have in these kind of devices, right? So first, try it in mobile. If it works, just you will be sure that it will work in in other platforms. So the question is, or just to wrap up all the information that I gave you, do we think that mobile is prepared for HTML5 gaming? And for the desktop, in this case, we really think that yes, that you can nowadays develop a compelling game using HTML5, and you can deploy it in different markets like the Chrome Store and Mozilla Marketplace, and you can just try to get some money out of it. There are some other markets out there like Pocky, but what about mobile? Yeah, well, my advice in this case is just go for hybrid applications. You need more gears, you need more tools to make your game run. It's not as easy in the desktop. The desktop browsers nowadays are really, really powerful, and they are updating a lot. Just to give you a glimpse, I mean, our platform was opened 4 months, nearly 4 months ago, with the full stack of all the features that we have. And we already have 2,000 developers, registered developers. We have more than 1,000 projects that are going on, and more than 100 projects that have been successfully already deployed in the markets. But anyway, I mean, I was just trying to just give you a glimpse of ideas that HTML5 gaming is an option. I'm not saying that it's going to replace native. We shouldn't start with these kind of battles that it's better or if it's. Each platform has their pros and their cons, right? I mean, I really think that if you really want to develop a simple but compelling casual game, and you really want to go cross-platform, that is really important for you. I really think HTML5 today, it's an option for you. So, but well, I mean, just judge it for yourselves, and I'm going to just execute the game and show it to you with a device. And before I finish, just remind you that we are hiring. And if anyone just wants to contact me, just come afterwards and we will talk. So let me just show you the game running. In this case, I just brought a lot of devices, but I wanted to show you that even in all devices, HTML5 can be a compelling option. I wanted to try to bring you the lowest end devices that we have. So in this case, so this is an iPad 1, and it's running the game. As you can see here, we have Facebook integration, and it's using the native SDK for Facebook. So you will have the same experience, and it will just connect to your Facebook application that you have already installed in your device. We also have Game Center integration. So you, for example, if you go to Scores, here you can go to Game Center. And I don't know if I'm connected now, but yeah. And you can see that and this is everything developed in HTML5 using JavaScript, okay? But the only thing is that we are using all those extensions to access these native features. The same thing with Facebook here.
On Canvas right now?
Everything is on Canvas, yeah, definitely. I don't know if I mentioned it, but what we have developed is a platform that runs the HTML5 Canvas API right now. So we also have in-app purchases with remove ads. You can see all the different games that we have developed. And you can see the game running here. It goes, maybe with this camera has some latency, but as you can see here, and if you just, afterwards, if you just come and try to talk to me, I can show it to you. And it runs 55 frames per second, sometimes 60 frames per second. So it's pretty compelling for an iPad 1. And this is for iOS. And also, I just brought it, the same game. Sorry. I should have prepared this beforehand. But this is the same game running in a Nexus 1. So this is Nexus 1 using Android 2.3. So it's pretty old. It's our lowest end device. And as you can see here, you have the same things, but of course you don't have Game Center integration. It's exactly the same code base. You don't have to change a line of code, and it's exactly the same code that you saw before. And you can see the game here is running at around 40 frames per second, And it has, I mean, it looks like maybe it's a very simple game, but I'm telling you that it's using some complex 2D physics. It has more than 60 physics objects right now running. And so definitely, even for native, I mean, you can definitely you can get this. We have developed this game before, but the user won't notice that there is that this is an HTML5 JavaScript game, especially if you're running in one of the highest end devices. So that was it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have any questions.
So how easy is it to integrate like maybe external devices such as the Intel perceptual computing device with your platform?
Mm-hmm. The thing is that right now the SDK is closed, so we have a plugin system, but we own the plugin system right now. It's not open. There's no community for. It's not open source. Okay. Yeah, no, we don't have support for that, but definitely, I mean, we're open to any suggestions. So if a company really thinks that it could be very compelling for this case, I don't see it right now because it's mainly for mobile devices. So I don't really see it in this case for mobile. But yeah, definitely in this case for this SDK. But definitely it can be done. Definitely can be done. But the thing is that right now the SDK is not open, so you cannot develop yourself. We're thinking of opening it, but right now it's closed. But definitely could be. Yes? Yeah. Right now it's for free, and actually you can, and there will be a free version, of course. But depending on your needs, there are different models. So if you really want to know more about that, you can just contact us, and we will give you all the information because it really depends on your needs. If you are going to use these extensions, you're going to use different extensions. You're going to use in-app payments, advertising, push notifications. Depending on the services that you want, the pricing is different. So yeah, definitely. Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
What about, other than touch features, what about things like sensors like accelerometer, gyrometer, things like that?
Yeah. Yeah, we have developed the same, as I mentioned, with the Canvas API. We have stick to the HTML5 standard, and we have implemented the HTML5 device motion and device orientation API. So you can definitely use them. Actually, we have one feature that the standard doesn't have. That is that you can specify the update rate of your devices. So you cannot because I don't know why they left that out, but it's really important because especially because of performance and because of the battery life. So with our platform, you can use an extension and you can just configure how many times per second is going to be updated. But yeah, definitely you can use accelerometers. We have a demo actually for that. Any other questions? Yes?
How quickly do you update your system if there's OS update?
Yeah, the thing is that we're trying to get like a monthly update, but yeah, it depends on the different releases that we do. But yeah, we're trying to like every month to have a new release. Yeah, sometimes it gets a little bit longer because we're stuck in work, but yeah.
And then if you release a new version of your system, how easy is that to push into a project that's already built?
Okay, so the process is very easy. You just develop your game in HTML5 using your tools in your laptop or your desktop computer, and then we provide two free applications, one for Android and one for iOS, that are called the Cocoon.js launchers. You can just install those applications, and you can just zip your development or directly access your URL where your development is, and you can just test it in those applications. Once you have tested the application there, you can just go to our cloud compiler, and you can just get the final application. And you can upload the application yourself to the markets, to Google Play, to Amazon, or to the App Store. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward to test it. You just download that application, and you can just execute the games there. So if someone is interested, I know it's really late, but just contact me, and I can just show you. There are videos out there how to use the launcher.
I have to say that cloud compiling is one of the features I really like.
Okay, great. So have you been using the platform?
Playing with it for about a month or two.
How was your experience?
So far, it's really good.
Okay.
I'm still learning the ropes, but I think I'm doing all right.
I'm glad to hear it. Okay, great. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's not complicated. It's just HTML5 and JavaScript. So as far as you stick to that, you're good. So I know it's late, but yeah, I mean, thank you very much.